Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here this afternoon with you all to be able to share my journey on this project. But before I begin, I'd like to extend a thank you to my colleagues at Atlas Lab, especially Eric Prince and Brenna Castor-Carlson and Daisy Welcome, as well as a special thank you to my family for their support. Thank you, Daniel, Naomi, and Elise. When you are poor, the sun finds you faster. A little over 2 years ago, my research journey began when I stumbled upon an article in the New York Times that shared the story of Juanita Cruz Perez. She's a woman who lives on the east side of San Antonio in a historically red-line neighborhood. She has to make the difficult decision whether she can afford to run her AC or pay her bills. And she suffers from a slew of health conditions and unfortunately has to make a tough call to run her AC only in the evening time. In the same neighborhood, Amelia Castillo and her husband have to wait in an unsheltered bus stop in extreme heat events. Unfortunately, this is a typical condition seen in disadvantaged communities where lack of resources and investments have not been made. And it's only getting hotter. Last year was the hottest year on record, and it's only getting warmer and warmer. Cities across America are experiencing increased temperatures for longer durations. We know this is exacerbated by the heat island effect, which is an urban area that's significantly warmer than its surrounding environment due to human activity and our urban surfaces. So as the sun sets at night, one would think it would be cool down, but yet our roadways and our rooftops are still radiating heat. And heat is the #1 related killer in the United States. In 2022, we had over 1,700 deaths related to heat, and that was up 245% since 2000. And so cities across the nation are asking, how do we stay cool? And we see these headlines time and time again. Again, this is becoming a common occurrence. But as we ask, how do we stay cool and how do we become more resilient and how do we prepare for this climate crisis, we have to really understand that heat is disproportionately impacting people of color and low-income communities. The data shows this. There's a clear correlation between heat and income. The more trees you have, you're in a wealthier neighborhood, and vice versa. And this is also informed by historical redlining, where investments such as street trees, parkway strips, parks, open space have not been designed into the neighborhoods. And we have, in low-income communities, we see 41% lower tree canopy coverage compared to wealthier ones. So throughout my fellowship, I've been able to really rely on this incredible tool, the Tree Equity Score. I really invite all policymakers and practitioners to use it. It is an online resource where you can type in your zip code and it produces a score for you. And this rating basically calculates tree canopy coverage, census data, and surface temperature, and develops a rating and helps determine most areas of need. So how did we get here? This was an incredibly transformative moment for me during the fellowship, where we had to get to the why. Why is this happening? In order for us to create substantive change, we really need to understand what are the underlying causes. For this project, I look into my own backyard of Sacramento, California. Believe it or not, Sacramento has the second largest hand-planted urban forest in the world. And so although we have this incredibly robust tree canopy, it is not evenly distributed, with our disadvantaged communities feeling the heat more. So what was really great was that this leadership pushed me to really reach beyond our typical allied organizations and really do some outreach. I had the great fortune of meeting with over a dozen city leaders, planners, nonprofits, urban forestry experts to really understand the why. Kevin Hawker with the City of Sacramento Urban Forest Manager, and who is an industry leader in urban forestry practice, said it's not a soils problem, it's a space problem, and that our older infrastructure does not support parkway strips to plant trees. He says, I need more room, give me more room. And so in this image here, this is within a disadvantaged community in Sacramento. This area highlighted in pink to the right is the right-of-way space. And this would be an ideal space to plant trees. But as we look at this area, we see utility lines overhead. And what this sends the message to the community is that utilities take priority over shade. We really need to start to critically look at the right-of-way and the areas that the city can manage and implement changes to as an opportunity to really invest into trees as critical infrastructure. Pamela Sanchez with the Sacramento Tree Foundation shared that there's general lack of education related to the benefits of trees to homeowners, and that outreach is difficult. And the psychological barriers to planting trees, that if you see your neighbor plant a tree, you're more likely to do so, and vice versa. Victoria Vasquez with the California Relief nonprofit focused on tree planting said that although you can plant or provide a tree for free and reduce that initial upfront cost of planting the tree initially, that there is an inherent lack of trust within disadvantaged communities, and that free is not free. And then we have amazing tree planting programs that are popping up across the country over the last decade, yet they're failing at alarming rates because there has been no investment into education, maintenance, and building community consensus around trees. These are some snapshots of some homes within these particular communities that I studied, where on the right here, highlighted in pink, is a typical condition that you'll see where a homeowner chooses to completely remove any of the plant material in the front of the yard because it's easier to just maintain concrete. But we all know that this is part contributing to the heat island effect. Or we have trees that have died and there's no replacement strategy because the cost is too high to remove the stumps and replace the tree. So we need to take action. And as part of my fellowship journey, I want to create a cool equity movement. Sam Block, a writer who focuses on shade and equity, talked about shade as being a civic resource, an index of inequality, and a requirement for public health. Shade should be a mandate for urban designers. And for that, I took that as great inspiration. In the fall, I launched Cool Conscious Cities, an online campaign. And so this is a social media campaign. It's a snapshot of our designated Instagram page where we're able to, in real time, be able to share all this data collected throughout the fellowship and be able to share stories, interviews, and incredible case studies and research at a rapid rate. And so that was really important to be able to share this data as fast as possible because, again, we're facing this problem and we need to get and spread the word. As part of this journey, too, we were able to do a series of interviews to highlight these issues. And Victoria Vasquez with the California Relief was able to share her insights on ways we can improve our urban forestry practices.
Understanding the health benefit that comes along with a tree is very important for our community members to understand. So if we can have, no matter who it is, whether it's your local Girl Scout troop or a resource organization or a city initiative or a county initiative, whether it's government, nonprofit, whomever it is that is sharing the tree initiative, if they are making sure that community members feel part of the process, that they're able to choose their tree, that they understand the choice of why they're choosing that tree, that they understand who's going to support them later if their tree breaks up a sidewalk You know, what is the course of action? Do you understand the reason for where you plant a tree? So if you're providing the appropriate education to the community member and you provide a consistent sharing of your resource, of your time, that they can ask you a question. If you're not saying, okay, here's a tree and then you can't reach us later, that's not going to create the relationship that you need with a community who's going to have to be stewarding this tree for the rest of that tree's life.
So in addition to the social media campaign this week, we launched the Cool Kit. So, yay! The Cool Kit is a set of landscape-based solutions to combat extreme heat and advance cool equity. This is just an online, easy-to-use guide that is organized by 3 scales: the site, the neighborhood, and city scale. And it is guided by ASLA's recent research publication just shared called Landscape Architecture Solutions to Extreme Heat. Some of these solutions include de-paving, which is a really simple strategy of removing asphalt and concrete. Great nonprofit that is doing this work called D-Pave is be able to get grants, micro grants to focus and do this work. But again, this really responds to Kevin's advice about creating more space for trees. We also have Cool Paving. In LA right now, they are testing different ways to retrofit existing asphalt roadways and with white topping, painting of streets, and coating them with more high albedo reflecting coating. Then we have the amazing story coming out of Medellin, Colombia, the cool corridors there. So the mayor's initiative over the last year has been focused on intensive planting of their roadways. And they have been able to successfully reduce temperatures by 3.6%. This is innovative. This is where we need to go in order to really shift the needle within our cities. Then we need tree ambassadors. We need, as speaking to Victoria's words, we need to get community members involved, and us as landscape architects need to be part of the conversation. We need to start facilitating connections between community members and really improve the education and outreach related to trees. And green schools and amplifying trees within our park systems themselves. So although maybe a property owner will maybe not be able to take care of a tree, can we amplify and really retrofit our existing schools and parks? In addition to this, I had the good fortune of the climate action plan with the city of Sacramento that took place over the last few years. But as this fellowship was going on, I was able to engage in conversations with the City of Sacramento senior planners who are taking this climate action plan on and able to share this research and data to inform policies. And so I encourage everyone to reach out to their local city planners to be able to be part of these conversations, as we know climate action plans are in the works across the country. And then last but not least, I'd like to talk about our latest project that we're working on, which is called the Cool Spot. It's an on-demand mobile installation that can pop up into particular neighborhoods during extreme heat events and be able to provide temporary relief from the heat, but also providing resources to stay cool. So that TBD on that. So with that, I invite all of you to join the Cool Equity movement and to follow us at coolconsciouscities.com, where you'll be able to check out the Cool Kit and find out more case studies and research opportunities. Thank you so much.